Hey, I'm Jade, and today I wanted to tell you about what Christmas was like for me when I was suffering badly with OCD and what it's like today, where I'm recovered, and Christmas is a really enjoyable time. I wanted to share what's different, why I no longer feel like I need it to be great, and that's what makes it great in the end. I was checking in with myself about what my next video should be about for this channel. I thought, okay, it's coming up to Christmas. I reflect so much on where I'm at in life when it's Christmas time. That seems like a good theme for where you're at right now, above anything else. I appreciate that not everybody celebrates Christmas, but I imagine that if you live in a place where a lot of people do, and it's the winter holiday season, it can feel like there's a lot of pressure to feel good, to feel like everyone else. And so that's where I would start this story, really, is that I struggled the most with OCD because I felt really different to everyone else. I would just look at this, like I had the potential for Christmas to be perfect. And I would just look around me at everyone else. I could wear the nice clothes, I could decorate my house nicely, I could wrap the gifts perfectly. And I would try and make the external seem perfect, but inside everything felt, I've mentioned this before in relation to the more taboo themes, where you feel rotted inside. The exterior feels great, but you feel dim and rotted. That's how I used to feel. And I would look around everybody thinking, how can I not experience this like them? Why is it everything so hard for me? And I just felt really isolated. And I was researching recently about happiness, and I read a statistic that said that I think Denmark is meant to be one of, if not the happiest country in the world. And because of that, people who do suffer with depression and mental illness, the rates of that and the severity of that is actually a lot higher and more alarming. I think that's because the research they did and what they drew from that was that when you're surrounded by joy, but you don't feel that way, that can feel really hard. And so I think that is why at Christmas we especially feel really alone and stuck. It's also that sort of time marker. Once December starts, I'm like, I can't believe another year is gone. Where has that year gone? How did that happen? Everyone's saying the same thing. Oh, 3 weeks to go. It's this big countdown. And every day we get closer, we're thinking, I hope this year's the year I enjoy it. I hope this year is just going to be magically gone when I wake up in the morning. In my depths of OCD suffering, every morning when I woke up with it, it would be maybe 5 seconds where I had that refreshed sleep feeling, because one good thing with my OCD is that I slept a lot to escape. I would sleep hours and hours and hours on the weekend, and then I would wake up feeling really rested, and I'd have about 5 seconds of this lovely feeling of like, it's gone. And bear in mind, I didn't know I had OCD, I just thought I was a bad person. And it would feel like, it's gone, great, I'm gonna have a great day. And then bang, thoughts, remember what happened, remember who you are, if they find out, if they only knew. I remember really vividly the sort of, not the scar of that, but just the memory is it will never leave me, how difficult that feeling was. Today, I wake up, I don't ever have that feeling, ever, not once. I don't remember the last time I woke up and felt that feeling. And so every now and then I have to remind myself of what it felt like to wake up that way. And the people that I chat with in the WhatsApp group who are currently feeling that way and feeling really difficult feelings like I used to feel, it reminds me to be so grateful for everything I have. I was only saying to my family yesterday, I was like, this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. And I mean everything, my entire childhood, every single thing in my life. And it's not this sort of fairy tale, blissful, everything's perfect happiness. It's just a settled, deep sense of contentment in anything that comes along, in the challenges that exist, and knowing that everything I've overcome was for something, and that deeper perspective now on life, making life mean more to me. I'm just trying to put out a message for you in the lead up to Christmas that I would have valued hearing. I would have valued someone saying to me, it can be better. And if you do the right things and work hard enough, it will be. And I think that is the thing that's missing in a lot of OCD advice that's available. It's not a sort of like, here are some tools to help you cope. Here are some things you can do to get you through this. It's more, here's how you can overcome this. Here's how you can actually live how you want. I would have given anything at all, absolutely anything. I would have lived alone for the rest of my life, I think. Yeah, I would have given anything. If someone said, the thoughts will stop tomorrow, you won't have OCD anymore, or you won't have this bad brain anymore tomorrow, I would have given up my intelligence. I would have, my career, like seriously family members, I would have given up anything if someone said it's possible. But the good news is you don't have to do any of that. You just have to work really hard. I suppose if you were to say, Jade, what do I have to give up to get better? I would say you have to give up your comfort. You have to be willing to be very, very, very uncomfortable for quite a significant amount of time. And I believe that's why a lot of people aren't getting better, because it is so scary and it's easy to retreat and quickly run away from it. Oh my gosh, that's too scary. What if it's real? What if this recovery plan is not going to work? That quick back to safety. And safety feels really good in OCD. Believe me, I spent years, when I was very, very bad with OCD, my life routine was just work 50 hours, watch Friends in the evening for 3 hours with my meal in front of the TV because it seemed to soothe my intrusive thoughts, fall asleep with the TV on, wake up, go to work, finish work on Friday, drink. I didn't have a dependency on alcohol, but it was definitely like when I would have a drink, my brain would stop in the same way that watching TV or working. By drinking a lot and staying out late, it would enable me to have an excuse for sleeping through Saturday. And then Sunday, oh, it's Sunday, you've got to have a chill day, let's just watch TV all day. And I got away with that for maybe 6 years. The second that anything came up that was outside of that plan, I would freak. If it was like, let's go visit family, let's walk to a shop that isn't on my safe route because I don't know what I'm going to see on the way, we're going to have to walk past the school, we're going to have to, anything, I would freak and be sick. And if anything came up that was a trigger, I would just absolutely freak. When it came to Christmas, it was just the worst time for me. My kid's shouting me. Yeah? Are you okay? Okay, I'm out of breath from running up the stairs. So Christmas, I would be in a state of anxiety because of all the Christmas parties. We have a big Italian family. I have a big Irish family, so everything's so huge and mega. Lots of going away, lots of trips, lots of meals, which I now love. I would just feel all day a sense of dread. What if they knew what was going on in my head? How can I sit here pretending like I'm normal? What if they knew? Why am I not like them? A deep sense of dread, and all day I would just hate it. And then the day after Christmas, I would be happy it was all over. It was honestly, aside from summer, because I was really triggered during summer months, it was just the worst time of year for me. So once I got better, a lot of the stuff we talk about on this channel is about unconditional acceptance of life and everything that's coming up. And so today's attitude towards Christmas is, I genuinely see it as rationally another day. It's a day, and I don't see it like that as a form of reassurance. Oh, it's okay, you don't have to enjoy it, it's just another day. It's not like that. It's like, I see that humans have just constructed this calendar of events across a year, and one of them happens to be this day where we do cool things. And depending on your values and your religious background, there's deeper meaning to that day as well, like significance. I mean, we can talk about any religious holiday here. Whatever your religion, whether you are religious or not religious, then you can apply this. Seeing that there is a significance to a date from a faith perspective can also put a lot of pressure on you that you must enjoy it, you must feel connected with your faith. It carries that weight where you feel like, I need to enjoy this, I must enjoy this. But when your brain has changed and you see the world rationally as, if I enjoy it, great, and if I don't, okay, it's just another day, it actually frees you up to have the best experiences, because when the pressure is gone, it opens up this freedom. When I go to a party, I'm on my way there, I've taken the gifts, maybe some cheese and wine for the person hosting. Everything at home is ready for Christmas morning. My kids are really excited, I'm dressed up. I'm on my way and I'm not expecting anything. It may be the best night ever, and it may just be boring, or it may be just not great. And I don't mind either way. And I think that's true of anything in your OCD. If you have ROCD and you don't mind if you feel loved up with your partner or not, you just go in with the flow, you're more likely to free up the space to have genuine connection with your partner. But that won't lift until you're not afraid of it anymore. So that's why we talk so much about unconditional acceptance. That's what has got me better from OCD, alongside doing huge amounts of exposures. I will not say it enough times. We're not doing enough of them. We're not doing the hard ones. We're giving up too soon. I gave up too soon. I would try them. I do a few things. Oh, it's not working. Exposures doesn't work for me. No. I had to go to the darkest place in my exposure plan for it to actually move. I remember just being, I don't know how to explain it. It's maybe like an exposure pit. When you're on a true program where exposures are really going to get to it, I'm talking like multiple times a day. And I think ones that are actually really, really getting to the core of your belief, that feel very risky. And in reality, they're not risky. They're doing normal things like anyone else would do. But to you, they feel really scary. I'm really risking this. I shouldn't be doing this. This is crazy. For me, it was quite easy in a sense because I was forced to do it because my fears all related around having children. And then to have kids, you have no choice. You can't not do these exposures. Alongside doing way more exposures than I ever thought possible, I would just cry and cry and cry. I can't do another day of this. I can't keep doing this. And something in me, I think maybe reflecting on my childhood not being that great and wanting different for my kids, I think that's probably where the motivation came from. And I say motivation like that because with motivation, you're not going to have that every day. You're not going to feel motivated every day. But it was like a deep drive I had that was unwavering. And I feel the same now about my kids. You know, if there's something that is going to improve their life, it's a deep-rooted, unwavering, nothing is going to stop me doing what is going to be right for them in the long term, even if it's hard for me. That can be true of anyone you love. You don't have to have kids. It was the unconditional acceptance that unlocked everything alongside that. If you have learned about this concept and you've been working on it and disputing irrational beliefs, that can kind of be a bit of a safe place to stay if you're only doing that. You have to be doing the exposures. You have to stop the compulsions. You have to do it all as a mix. Once my unconditional acceptance started to kick in, which is basically where you're working on not wanting your fears to come true, but being at peace that even if they did, it's not as terrifying as you think it is, and working towards unconditional acceptance of, even if that were true, I wouldn't want it, but it wouldn't be as scary as I imagine. And the proof for that is that other people are not scared of this to the level that I am. They don't want it, but they're not terrified of it. You're basically training your mind. The best way I can put it with unconditional acceptance is that you're in a training program to make your brain function the same way as people without OCD function. The same for me. If I think of any of my past fears, I typically think of them as something that I think I wouldn't want that to be true. And that this isn't like, oh, I tell myself this is my beliefs. That's very different. Try and be careful with that because sometimes it can seem like we're saying, oh, just tell yourself, even if that were true, that would be okay. If anyone is doing that and telling you that's what to do, definitely not, because that's compulsive. What we're doing is shifting the beliefs over quite a long period of time. With my ROCD, that's unlatched for the most part because I am not scared of any of the eventualities. I'm not scared of a divorce now. I'm not scared of being with the wrong person. I'm not scared of being cheated on outside of a healthy, rational amount. So those fears have unlatched. Now, there's no amount of exposure I could have done because of how severe my OCD was that would have made that budge or that belief shift work. Where I'm getting to is that what is Christmas like for me now? Fun, right? It's like I've got my kids and I never thought Christmas could feel so nice. I've built what I would have wanted for these children. And it is very true. I said to my daughter the other day, I said, how are you feeling about something? She said, I'm really excited. And I said, do you know what it's like to be a mummy? And she was like, no. And I said, it's so weird because when you're a mummy, if your kids are excited, you actually feel that too. It's an excitement for you in a literal sense, not even like I'm excited for you being excited. It's like, no, I'm actually excited that you're excited. So it's transferable. I could never imagine that I would even survive being a parent. I pictured if I ever had kids and was in this situation where I've got a 7-year-old and a nearly 4-year-old and it's Christmas. I would just have to get through it. I would just survive it. I would just like knuckle down, just get through it, grit my teeth. But that isn't what it's like at all. It's not this fairy tale silly magic, but I will be honest, it is at times. I'm not going to pretend, oh, you know, normal life is not amazing, because actually sometimes it is just magic, just the normalness, being free from your own brain and feeling like refreshed every morning because you've had a good sleep and you've had a nice day. Yesterday, I said to my husband, that's one of the best days I've had in ages. All we did was go take the kids to this little farm to feed some ponies, have a nice meal with his parents. I got some stuff done in the house, and that's one of the best days I've had in so long, because everything just flowed, everything just felt nice. It was like being with people you love. That feeling I just never thought I would get. For me, Christmas is, I have a lot of family dynamic baggage sort of things that come up for me around Christmas time. In a non-OCD way, there's certain things that are a bit painful for me, just relating to family dynamics on my sides. And I've got a really rational perspective on that. The other day, I could feel my emotions like kind of wavering a bit, and I really just accepted them. And rather than sitting in them, I was productive for the day, and they really passed. I'm really accepting of all the people in my life and choices they've made. So I'm not angry about any of these emotional things that come up for me. That's really transformative, because not only is the OCD gone from my experience of Christmas, it's also just that normal life things are not an issue anymore. When your beliefs have truly changed, other things like silly anger, why is that person this way to me? Why would they that to me? Or you have a friend visit and they're not perfect and you think, why do they do that? That's a stupid choice. My friend was telling me about where she's going to move and why, and I was thinking, I wouldn't do that. But I'm not feeling like, oh, I need her to know she's wrong. I'm just enjoying hearing about her experience of her choice and why she came to that, and thinking, oh, I wonder if when she makes that choice, she'll think, oh, I don't think that was the right choice, or maybe I'll turn out to be wrong and it was the right choice for her. And I find that so fascinating. And so when you can really like unpin from that stuff and accept people and love them for whatever they do and all their flaws and things they do, or even there's people who have wronged you and you can't have them in your life anymore, but you can still release your anger to them and come from a place of seeing they did the best with what they had. And that doesn't mean you allow them to treat you badly and poorly. You can still do what's needed to protect yourself and to set those boundaries. Christmas just feels like it's meant to me. It's like, it is just another day, but it is a real time of just dropping into someone. There's so many people today who I'm like, just gonna drop in, I've got to pick up something from someone, drop in, have a cup of tea, just give someone a hug you wouldn't usually give a hug to in the supermarket because you haven't seen them for ages, and wish them a Merry Christmas and hope everything's well. And so what I wanted to leave you with is just, if you're feeling like this Christmas you're not going to get through it, that's okay. It can feel really bad. I had several Christmases that were absolutely terrifying to me, awful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. No matter how bad you feel today, it can get better, and if you want it to, it will. I'm not going to say, oh, it is going to get better, because if you don't change, it won't. You have to get that grit and decide, do I want this for another 10 years? If I'm suffering now, why don't I just suffer with my exposure work, with being really triggered, with working on my irrational beliefs? Why don't I just suffer in a different way, but me moving forward? I think this can be a good time to get determination. You're probably not going to be able to change much in the next 3 days. Let's accept where we are today and go, okay, this might be a hard one. I'm okay with that. I'm not alone on Christmas Day when I'm sitting at the dinner table, or if I'm sitting alone, whatever, or at any other religious holiday. If I'm looking around thinking I'm alone, just remember there's millions of other people who are doing exactly what you're doing, feeling exactly the same. You've probably met many of them by chatting. Also remember that there are thousands of people who are recovered, who are sitting at that Christmas table looking around thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't think this was possible. Ask yourself, this is my parting question, do you want this, what you've got now, forever? Or do you want to do something to get yourself better? What can you do? Follow this channel, this video, give me a comment to let me know where you're at. You can also read the OCDrecovery.com website to learn more about unconditional acceptance. There's a reading list that personally I recommend going through alongside coaching. I know they're taking on clients right now. If funds are an issue, they also host regular webinars. Do what you can to learn about how to recover. The reason I'm better, and this is serious now, I'm not better because of Rob from OCD Recovery. I am, because he helped me and he coached me, but I'm not better because of him and what he's doing. I'm better because I spent a long time not listening to what anyone told me about how to get better. I was learning for myself. I'm not going to stop until I find something that makes sense. You have to be in charge of your own brain. If you've got a therapist and you don't feel like it's working, you have to understand, where is this going? What's the plan? It has to make sense. And I'm not talking on a day-to-day compulsive level of questioning. You have to find a route that makes sense to you. And so when I committed to the OCD recovery process of getting better, it's because I spent a long time. I researched all the different tools, techniques. I tried things. I was like, why is this not working? Why am I not getting better? There must be a better way. And then when I found the OCD recovery Instagram, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I started learning about it. I started talking to my therapist. Yeah, but what about this? Isn't that a compulsion? Aren't you giving me reassurance there? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I am actually. I'm thinking, I know more about OCD than you. This isn't going to work. I can't do this anymore. Unfortunately, the world is not ready for getting everyone better from OCD. There are too many people who don't specialise it, and even if they do, don't get me wrong, there's some incredible OCD specialists in the world, but when you have severe chronic like me, it can be really hard to get better. Just make sure that whoever you go with, it makes sense and that you've got a clear plan, and you know, as long as I work hard, this is going to work. Don't give up, stick to your plans, stick to a few things, do them really well for a prolonged period of time, and you will see things shift. There were months when I was like, there is no point doing this, it's not getting better. However, Christmas is looking for you, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, the winter holidays, or whatever is going on for you. Maybe you're watching this at a time where a religious holiday is coming up for you, or just a particular time when there's an event you feel like you should enjoy it. Just remember that you're not alone. Get through it. Focus on the future. I just wish you a Merry Christmas in the meantime. Thank you for listening, and I'll come back soon.